Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Okay, I think we got the quorum here to start. Let's get started. Today is July 19th. This is the multi-large working group meeting. And what's being done? Amy?
Yes, thank you. So we are continuing progressing with the web fleet migration. So far we've got pre and staging migrated. And then the next steps will be to prepare to move over Canary traffic. So we are seeing a few extra QA failures on staging, I think, just staging. So we're investigating those. And once we have all the other checks in place, we can start planning what the next steps look like.
Are those issues logged into the issue tracker, or or it's just a known?
It's just a known at the moment. They actually, we believe they might actually be registry related rather than this migration. But I'll go through and check we have all the labels on those at the moment.
Okay, cool. If there are not issues for this, please log as a new issues. We can follow up if there is any development work involved here. I can help follow up.
Should all be at the moment, as we understand it, it's all infrastructure
okay.
at the moment. So yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, and of course, my question was, do we have an ETA for moving all the web nodes?
Yeah, good question. So none at the moment. So the main task we're going through at the moment is evaluating differences between the Kubernetes and VMs. So I've put the issue in there. So if you want to track, what this will do is basically give us in an ideal world, they're the same. And then we know it's quite an easy step. There may be things within that we haven't yet uncovered. So the outcome of this task will determine our next steps.
Thank you. So what's next is basically described here, continue to work on the web nodes migrate to some Canary traffics.
That's right, yes.
Okay, cool. Blockers.
Yes, so I wanted to just highlight this one so we don't lose it. So we have a mitigation that we'll use around the dependency proxy migration needed. But it is just intended to be a short term. So we'll take that back out again once we have the actual real fix in place. Okay.
Actually, the work to be done was broken into two sub issues under that issue. So I just pinged Team Rizzi and Dan Croft. So follow up to schedule those sub issues for right now. The master issue is scheduled for 14.3. I will follow up to make sure that happens to the two sub issues.
Great stuff. Thank you.
Yeah. Any questions? Okay, moving on to the discussion item.
Great. Yes. So I just wanted to follow up. So I know we've got the GitLab should run well on Kubernetes issue, and we've started delivery. Are going to start thinking about prefects and see what we can what might be involved in us moving that over. Now, at the moment, in terms of it's a kind of a learning task from our side to understand how this might have to work in Kubernetes, how deployments may be affected. But I know we've talked a lot around performance impact. I was wondering, if we were to just shift this over and see what works, are there any environment requirements that we should be aware of that once we've done the shift would actually set us up in a good place to be able to test this?
CJ, you want to verbalize?
Yeah, sorry, okay, it doesn't. Sorry, super weird. Anyway, yeah, so when we rolled out Prefect to production, we put it on a GitLab box, which is insane in terms of cost and what it was capable of. And we've put it on the diet twice, and twice no one noticed. But at the same time, no one felt it was important enough to put it on the diet another time. So right now, we have no formal, well, we have a minimal bound, but we don't have a practical bound for bigger rollouts as production. The only bounds we do have are through synthetic load, through like QA and stuff, which yeah, so far seem to be over provisioned. If we're fine with over provisioning, so we get progress right now with the Kubernetes thing, I think Prefect is a very good candidate to get started. If we're on a budget, monetary wise as well, it's going to require some work to properly test this.
Okay, Amy, does that give you more context here?
Maybe.
Okay.
So I think it's a, I suppose it's a, if we, okay, I think we'll have to think this through. Like, I'm wondering if there's any, like, I suppose, assume we'll need to be able to run it alongside Gitly and like Rail. No, like we just put it on its own.
Yeah, so I spoke with Scarbeck this week. It's stateless. Like, as long as Gitly is deployed first, we do not care about Prefect from a Gitly perspective, nor does Rails know there is even a Git Prefect. So it really is stateless, and the only dependency it has is that there is a Gitly behind it, which
Okay.
Yeah, I think is rather obvious.
It won't matter. It doesn't matter to it where that Gitly is.
Correct. Nope. Well, like, don't put it on the in Venezuela or something with bad internet. But yeah, if it's the same database, it should be fine.
Yeah, the only state that the Prefect deployment that we have as a part of the charts right now is the configuration of where Gitly actually is. That's the one state item that it has to care about, is who do I talk to, and it has to be reloaded to pick up that information. Otherwise, as long as it's got a database that persists on its own, the Prefect database, I can restart them all over the place and nobody cares.
Right. Okay. Okay. Cool. Okay. Well, we'll see how this goes then. So we'll just try and get it stood up somewhere and see what plays out.
Cool. And my question to CJ is, how has the testing been going? We have been talking about it for a few months, so just to touch base, how the testing looks like.
Yeah, so I ran it locally, but like falsifying that something doesn't work, I think is rather hard. Like the obvious failures I did, like what if it runs out of memory? It starts to drop a lot of packages. I felt that was obvious, but so far I haven't seen reasons it should not, like Prefect should not work in a Kubernetes environment. I did see an issue today from Jason, well, actually from a customer about routing and DNS. I don't think this is Kubernetes specific, just the way gRPC works. And from what I've seen, GitLab.com is a much better heuristic if it works in Kubernetes than anything else would be. Like the review apps right now seem to work well. There are some flakiness issues, but it's really hard to get the data out of. But otherwise, I'm not aware of big blockers for either Prefect or Gitly in Kubernetes. I did talk to Scarbeck, like I just mentioned. Both of us were like, if we're going to do this on .com, let's start with a stateless service like Prefect over Gitly. Yeah, it seems much easier and less costly to learn our things there over Gitly, where we could actually lose data.
That's cool. Do you actually need some kind of environment, not your local environment, but it's like similar to our staging or production environment to test that, or local testing is sufficient to proceed to next steps?
For me, so far, local testing has been sufficient. I haven't tested under load. I think maybe Grant has. I don't know. I'm very loose in this, but I would just YOLO this to production. And the term YOLO is very, sorry, I shouldn't have used that, but I am confident. Let me put it that way.
We've not tested it in the charts because in the charts it's still listed as alpha. If you want to move that forward, then certainly we can look into that. But we have tested it extensively in Omnibus, and we found it to be quite a performant little component, really. I agree with CJ. I've got no major concerns about running in Kubernetes. Obviously, you want a little bit of buffer, but it doesn't go crazy when it's memory or CPU.
Sounds good. So our looks like our next step will be testing in production in some way.
We can use staging or pre or one of our test environments to see what this looks like. We will need to make sure that we can deploy it and run it, and also that we kind of handle backwards and forwards compatibility, like Gitly and things being on different versions as well. So we'll get that stood up somewhere.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you. Steven.
Actually, wrap up on that one. Is there somewhere, ZJ, that we can actually see the tests and the sort of things like are these comments in an issue anywhere?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, and what tests are we talking about? The QA?
Just the sort of local running that you've done and the sort of the things.
Oh no, I just spun up a Kubernetes cluster and tried to charge and just hacked myself into. I'm happy to share config what I tried, but I just tried to use whatever Jason has been building over the past 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, no, that's totally fine. Like I think just in the issue, it would be helpful if you just shared like what you've done, what you've seen, and any kind of like question marks, and then we can build on top of that.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be great. Tracking the results in an issue and also planning for the testing in staging. So that'll be nice. Thank you, CJ. Steven.
Yeah, we're right at the beginning of 14.2, and so I wanted to just give a call out that we don't have any scheduled item issues for specific to the multi-large working group. There is a single epic open that's for scheduling. We have not scheduled any of the work in that. Again, no real discussion here, but I just wanted to raise awareness of what distribution's focused on this coming release.
Thank you. Okay, any questions? Okay, that's the end of today's agenda. So thank you very much, everyone. Have a good day.